Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And in today's don't look at me. And in today's stop you color. In today's video, I will be giving my review for the new Rob Zombie film, The Munsters. Okay, where to begin with this? I gotta try to keep it short, but I got a lot to say at the same time. So I've been a fan of The Munsters for years now. Watched it growing up, owned the complete series. When I saw the trailer, just like everyone else saw the trailers, I was skeptical, but I went in with an open mind because I know nothing's going to compare to the series. It's Rob Zombie's take, the best he can do, with what the material he's got. Obviously he could have just made some random story for this movie, but he wanted to give us the meeting and marriage of Lily and Herman, on top of why how they ended up on Mockingbird Lane. But I went in open-minded. This film has been getting pretty trashed by critics and fans. And honestly, I don't have as big of an issue with this movie as most.
Not the best, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying that this movie is a 5 out of 5 or even a 4 out of 5. But is this movie as bad as people saying it is? For me personally, no. Now, maybe I just went in with an open mind. Maybe I went in with low expectations. I knew this was not going to be, like I said, come close to even being as good as the series. That happens numerous times. To me, if you watch the trailers that he gave us, or the teaser, whatever, that he gave us, and you just thought it looked like dog shit and had a bad mindset going into it and not open-minded going into it, then you shouldn't have watched the movie. I mean, that's just plain and simple. You shouldn't have watched the movie. I mean, you look at a film like Halloween Kills, for example. For us personally, the trailer when we watched it looked like it could have been a pretty decent movie. I personally hated the movie. My wife loves Halloween Kills. When I saw this trailer, did I think the movie looked like it was going to be anything amazing? No. But did I go in with an open mind? Did I go in expecting something different? Did I go in not expecting up to quality as the original series? Yes, I went in with an open mind. I went in knowing all those things, and telling myself all those things. Even though I thought the trailer looked pretty bad, I went in with hope. I went in with an open, just a sense of, okay, let's see what he's giving us. As for some of the stuff that went on with this movie, there was talk, or they did say that a lot of the budget, he did spend a lot of the budget on remaking the house, because he wanted it to look exact. There's a rumor that started saying that this movie cost $40 million to make. He, in a interview, said, that this movie, he don't know where those numbers came from, where people got those numbers, because this movie wasn't even close to that. He said he named off a few of his movies, including this one in the mix. He said if you combine them all, it wouldn't even reach $40 million what he had to work with. He said that, he said that this was meant for streaming to begin with. Who really knows? Rob Zombie's not been the type to defend his movies. He just usually puts it out there, and you like it or you hate it. He doesn't try to lie, nor at least that I've known. He's not tried to lie and make his films, defend his films in any way. If he was trying to do that or do good by the films, he wouldn't add his wife into the mix of his movies. Rob Zombie just doesn't. He don't care. He just does what he wants to do.
I think that's partially why he has such a cult following, also because they know he doesn't care. He just puts movies out there and
yeah, take it or leave it. I am a Rob Zombie fan for the most part. I
hate Rob Zombie except for Halloween.
I love the Devil's Rejects series. 3 from Hell was a little weak, but still okay. Love the first Halloween that he did. Halloween 2 was 31. I really enjoyed. I know a lot of people don't. Not seen Lords of Salem. I believe that's the name of it. Is that Lords of Salem?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that one. But so I went in. I am a pretty good fan of his work. So let's just start with the negatives of the movie before we jump into the positive, which is what's not being highlighted enough, I feel like, or just people just want to shit on it instead of talk good about it. But let's start with the negative first, and the obvious biggest negative is Sherry Moon Zombie. She can't act. We know this. We've known this
Forever.
for all his movies. She's no better in this one, but it's not going to change. He's still going to keep casting her. He said he don't care what fans say. He's come out and personally said she's going to be in his movies no matter what the fans say. So he just doesn't care what people think. But she's not good. She in my opinion the worst part of this movie. The next, for me personally, is some of the editing kind of lighting choices he did. He did say he was going for a more cartoonish feel, which it definitely had that feel in several scenes. So he did, in my opinion, if that was his goal, he did reach that goal. Now, did it work for the movie itself and the legacy of the Munsters? Obviously not. But it's what he wanted to go for. It's what he gave us. So I can respect that. I can accept that because that's what he wanted. I'm not going to just bash it because it disrespects the legacy of the series. The lighting choices, obviously we wish this was black and white. We all wish this was black and white since he announced or showed us the trailer and stuff. I think it personally would have looked a lot better in black and white.
I think it's because the type of character and theming it is why it looks better. It would look better in black and white.
Yeah.
Plus, it's what everyone's used to from the series.
Yeah. So, but the color-wise, at times, it was okay. It looked really great, especially when they go to California. And then at times, it was very bad. It blew out their faces. It just looked really bad. So, so I guess you could say that's more of a mixed aspect for this one for me. When it comes to the color choices and lighting and stuff. But outside of those three things, I still somewhat enjoyed it. I think the story itself, it had its moments. It did drag, and at times was kind of boring. And then when we got to the scene that we saw where they're sitting on the couch and he says, well, now what? Grandpa says, well, now what? I think that's when the movie should have ended. Instead, we get probably 10, 20 more minutes roughly of more movie. And for me personally, it just drug too much. It felt like either the Munsters Part 2, like a sneak peek to the Munsters Part 2, or it felt like the episode ended and we jumped straight into Part 2, but then never finished the second part of the episode. It had a weird feel. It didn't fit. It didn't fit cohesively for me with that one. So I do wish he would have ended it right on that couch. That would have been the perfect ending. And then if they greenlit the sequel, which Netflix might greenlight the sequel, that if they can greenlight stuff like Kissing Booth and stuff like that,
I said it.
I don't see why they wouldn't greenlight a Munsters 2.
Unless Rob doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, unless Rob just doesn't want to do it. But, I think he should have ended right there and waited to see what happened to add the rest. But, it still wasn't a horrible story. It had its moments, and it had its positives. So let's jump into the positives, and one of the positives is Grandpa. I can't think of the actor's name. I want to say it's like Robeck or something like that. I can't think of his name. I don't have it written down in front of me. I could be completely off on that name, so don't quote me on that name. But the actor that played Grandpa Munster, or Grandpa, he was great. Perfect. He was funny. I laughed multiple times when he was on screen. He just played the character to a T. And he's definitely the best in the movie. Now, as for costume design and the look of all the characters, I thought Rob did a great job for the most part. I thought the look of Herman looked good. He looked as good as we could get without it being Fred Gwynn. The only drawback is, yes, he cannot do the voice. But we knew that. We expected that. Nobody's going to touch Fred Gwynn's voice. They would have had to have hired an impersonator to do the voice and either dubbed it over his or just got a completely different a completely different actor that was an impersonator. But then who knows if he would have looked as good as this actor did. I can't remember the actor's name. He's been in some of his other movies. I want to say it's like Philip or something is his last name, maybe. I can't remember. I'm not good with names sometimes. But, so yes, his voice was pretty bad. It wasn't, I wish, he tried to do the laugh, and it didn't really work. I wanted it to, I thought he was going to get there, but he just didn't get there with it, but he tried. But, still, he still looked the part. And as much as I hated how Sherry Moon played Lily, I still think she looked decent. I still think she looked pretty good. Appearance-wise, the hair, the clothes, the clothes everybody wore looked great. The cars they drove looked really good. The house looked really good. I just think that go on, go, you can't be in it. You can't be in it. You'll get in trouble. I think that they all, costume design wise, I thought it looked great. Now, was I impressed when they were back in Transylvania before they moved to Mockingbird Lane? I mean, it was fine. It was, it was what it was. It wasn't anything amazing. He really focused on once they got to the house and that design, and then all the other little pieces around it. But I didn't hate it. I didn't, like I've already said, other than the lighting choice at times, I didn't really hate anything about the rest of the designs of the sets and stuff. And I think if it was in black and white, yes, it could have hid some of that. I think it could have helped disguise a lot of that. I know this was supposed to be a comedy all the way through. I didn't really find it funny except for Grandpa. So, that did kind of suck in a way. But still, I got enjoyment out of it. I still liked parts of it. I think that there was a lot there that worked, or there was stuff there that worked. I just think people have been way too hard on this. I don't know what they expected. We knew what we was getting. And like I said in the beginning of this video, if you didn't like what you saw, then you shouldn't have watched it. I mean, this is Rob Zombie. We know what Rob Zombie brings to the table. Yes, this was something different. This is more a comedic movie for him. Comedic family movie, really, for him. But, we'll see if this gets greenlit. We'll see kind of where it goes from here. Maybe they can work on the voice a little more in the next one. But I think people are just, like I said, being too harsh. Just being too harsh.
He's definitely done worse.
Yeah, I mean, I would put, honestly, I would probably put Halloween 2 below this. I mean,
His Halloween 2?
Yeah, Halloween 2.
I don't like Halloween 2.
Below this. Because his Halloween 2 just isn't good. And I gave the Munsters a 2.5 out of 5. Like I said, I'm not sitting here saying it's a 5 out of 5, it's a 4 out of 5. It's right there in the middle. It's not the worst I've seen this year. It's definitely not the best I've seen this year. I'll be honest, I almost bought the Blu-ray today. But I held off. I still may pick it up, especially if it drops in price eventually. If I find it cheap somewhere for like $5 or less, I would definitely probably pick it up and add it. But it's still not expensive. It's $15, so it's still not that expensive for a new release title. But, I wanted to come on here and talk more positive. I mean, I could sit here. I don't want to sit here and just trash it. Because I pretty much got what I expected. And, I even showed the movie cover to my mom because she was at the store today and she's watched the Munsters a lot of her life, and so I showed her the cover. She wanted to see what they look like, and even she said, that she thought they looked good, that he did a good job at making their appearance good. But and like with the story, yes, we get two stories into one. We get Lily and Herman. Basically, Herman gets created. It shows Herman getting created, and then him and Lily falling in love, getting married, going on their honeymoon, and Herman screws up, signs this paper that gives the house to one of Grandpa's ex-wives, I believe it was, and so they get kicked out of the castle that they're in, and that's how they end up at Mockingbird Lane. I like that. I was fine with that storyline. I had no issues there. Like I said, it did have some drag points and some kind of moments, but I think that just went along with, of course, Sherry Moon's acting being so bad and the comedy not fully working with everybody else outside of Grandpa. But I don't see that. I don't see this movie being warranted a half star or a star rating. I think 2.5 is where I feel most comfortable putting this. And, I really wish people would be more, more acceptable to this and, just be happy with what we got. I mean, like I said many times in this video, you're not going to touch the series. You're not going to come close to Fred Gwynn as Herman. We got to be thankful for what we get and just accept it for what it is, and try to be positive and look at positives on it, and not just trash it. But that's all. I'm going to end this for the video cuts off, or my phone cuts off and switches it, because I think I get like 25 minutes to film here. So that is everything for my review of the Munsters. So please comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified for our videos, and we will see you all on the next one.